Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Game Chat. This is one I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've decided to just kind of pinpoint down exactly some of the things I've been thinking about over time. And today we're going to be talking about Halo, specifically the state of the game and the future of the series. And I want to start off, before I even begin this video, by I really like all the Halo games, especially Halo 5. I think it's a great direction that the game went in. I think it's a logical addition to the game and evolution. There are things I like and I dislike, of course, just like with any game, especially a Halo game. There are things that are good and things that are bad, things that work and things that don't work. But what I see more so, and this is true to any game, but especially with Halo lately, is people just coming out and saying, I hate this game, it doesn't feel like Halo. And people say, like I said, people say that about any game, and I've never understood what that means. And I think to pinpoint it down more so is people pick a game that they enjoy the best. Maybe it was Call of Duty 4, maybe it was Halo 3, maybe it was Halo Reach, maybe it was Battlefield Bad Company, whatever, and they pinpoint that every game should be that game. And when a game changes or evolves or is not that, they feel that this is no longer feels like my game anymore. And they pinpoint that on the series. And that is true. But I kind of wanted to get to the bottom of it. And I created a Reddit thread on the R-Halo and asked some people. And I got very similar answers. And I pretty much disagree with all of them, but that's okay. I don't have to agree with these people. They don't have to agree with me either. But I think I may have sort of narrowed down a way to make Halo 6 the Halo game. And I'm not going to talk about the history. You know, we all know Halo 4 was what it was. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't. It went more competitive shootery and a la Call of Duty and Battlefield-esque. And it was really rushed by Microsoft. The 343 was a hodgepodge of all sorts of people. And Halo 5 got a little bit of that too, but it was a lot better. And the outlook for Halo 6 is getting better overall, and we're, going to be curious about what's going to happen. But let me start off here. So I had posted onto this Reddit thread, which I will link, and you can go check out yourself if you are so inclined. And I had basically said things like, some people say the time to kill is too short, or sprint ruins Halo, and I'd say that it's not objectively true, but even if they were, that doesn't make the game not the game anymore. If you took sprint out of Battlefield, it would still be Battlefield. And again, that's not a great example because it would change the gameplay a lot in that game, but it would still be a Battlefield game, right? So, what makes it so much different? And I've kind of narrowed it down to a few things. There are all sorts of things flying in all sorts of directions on this Reddit thread, and some of them are well thought out, some of them are people just getting angry, and I'm not 100% sure, welcome to the internet. But here's what I've kind of narrowed down, is people took Halo as a very competitive game. At least from what these people are saying. Now, I never played Halo during the heyday of Halo 2 or competitive Halo 3. I got into the later Halo games around the time Halo Reach came out, which was not nearly as competitive as the other two games were, although it had competitive modes. And people are saying that the way Halo 5 is set up, it dumbs down the complexities of the gameplay. Things like sprint, clamber, they reduce the need for trick jumps and skill jumps and grenade jumps and rocket jumps. And showing off where the power weapons are on the map, take down map knowledge. And, knowing that every 30 seconds the sniper rifle will spawn, so I should take it right as the timer changes so that there's a longer time for it to respawn again. And that there was so much to this game. Now, in my opinion, those things don't dumb down the game, they just make it more accessible. And there is a difference. It creates a new version of movement. There are now new versions of trick jumps and thruster jumps. And you'll see in Big Team Battle, too, on the old Basin map, and I think it's been changed now since they updated the map, you could get from the rock on one side where the incineration cannon spawns across to the base by using a combination of sprint, thrusting, and hover. to get across that gap. That, in my opinion, that's a whole new skill jump. So yeah, the old crouch jumping or throwing a grenade in a corner and glitching yourself up to a ledge, those days are gone. But the days of thrust jumping into a clamber, hovering to gain extra distance, using some sort of combinations of those, create new skill jumps and trick jumps to enable just a whole new thing to learn. And in my opinion, the power weapon spawning in is not a huge thing. Because in old Halo games, you know, there are all these classic maps, like take Pinnacle, for example, from Halo 2. The sniper rifle spawned near that tower, which means that the team just camped the tower the whole game and killed everyone who came near them, and there weren't enough routes to actually take that tower back unless you got lucky or got the rocket or something. So the maps were never really designed particularly around those power weapon grabs like they are in Halo 5. In Halo 5, they're placed centrally in the map in an easy accessible location, but the gameplay is drawn toward them instead of around them. In previous Halo games, the maps were what the maps were, and then weapons were placed appropriately throughout the map. In Halo 5, the maps are built symmetrically, and even if they're asymmetrical, they're built around this center point. And in that center point is a power weapon. And if there's more than one, they're usually placed on alternate center points. They're drawing the gameplay to the power weapons. It becomes almost an objective in even like something like Team Deathmatch, where now I know I have to go for the weapon. So now there's a fight over the weapon. Instead of just being able to be like, well, I know that in 5 seconds that sniper rifle's going to spawn. This kid who's never played before doesn't, so I'm just going to go take it, and then he's not going to be able to get it anymore. And in my opinion, that's a much better way to play the game. I find that now it's a fight or flight risk. It becomes a risk versus reward. Do I shoot for that gun now, risk running into 2 or 3 enemies, and lose that fight? Or do I sit back and wait for the guy to pick up the rocket launcher, let's say, leave, and then I can kill him one-on-one and take the rocket from there? It becomes a different fight and aspect. There's also some shots in here about the art style. And I can see a few things here and there, but in my opinion, I've had no issue with the art style whatsoever. I like the way it's going. There are some things that are classic about the old Halo, and some things that I really like about the new Halo. We're also talking about a new breed of Covenant, a new version of it. They're not the same Covenant we fought in Halo 3. They're a new version. New subspecies of the same species. That's why part of the reason why they look different. New weapons forged by different companies within the Covenant, new armor sets under the same idea. And that makes, in my opinion, really makes it stand out. And we're also talking about, in essence, a different breed of Forerunner, too. We're not talking about the Forerunners that built things on Halo and Earth. We haven't visited another Halo ring yet. We're talking about the Forerunners that built on their own planet. So perhaps we're looking at two different... Humans have all sorts of different architectural designs. And we have kind of one general theme throughout our architecture that you can look at if you were to look at everything. And I'm no architect, so I'm not going to get into that. But even look at like Gothic architecture versus Grecian architecture versus Roman architecture. They're all completely different. So why is it to say that an ancient super race would only build with very smooth angles? Why wouldn't they also decide to do more metallic builds that float? Or that one race might not decide, so Covenant's always about curves, right? Well, what if they modified it a bit? What if there's more angles into their curves? It's very logical. And because we're fighting different feelings of enemies, it feels different. You know, we're not fighting the same ones we've been fighting for the first 3 or 4 games. We're fighting new ones. And in my opinion, that really helps that. You know, these are a whole new breed, a whole new design, a whole new thought process. I'd also like to point out this. Everyone complains about the black undersuits. I'll have a picture on screen right here. Well, here's a picture of Master Chief from Halo 3. Remember, this is a Bungie game with the old art style. That's right there, black undersuits. They've been around since Halo 1. They have been there. And that's why I never understand people complaining, oh, the black undersuit, it looks so terrible. It literally looks the same. It's just graphically updated. You don't see as much texture in Halo 3 as you would in Halo 5 with its 4K now level graphics. And maybe it's because it's contrasted more. Maybe the brighter reds and brighter blues contrast the black. I think it looks cool. If you look into the lore, Spartan 2s, like Master Chief, were meant to be strong. They have metal bones now, or metal-infused bones. They're tall. They're twice as tall as a normal human. Well, not twice, but they're about 1.5 feet taller. You know, look at Spartan Palmer compared to Master Chief. He's like 1 foot taller than her, and then she's 2 feet taller than Lasky. They're huge. They're like 8.5 to 9 feet tall. Their Spartan 2s were designed to be these big, strong, just destroy all machines. Spartan 4s, like you play in Halo 4 and 5, are meant to be smaller and faster. They're designed to be a speed and reconnaissance style Spartan, hence needing less armor around them, more chinks in the armor to allow mobility. That's why, like, the whole classic is like you get stabbed in the neck or something because there's more area there. However, a Spartan 2 would just take an energy sword hit and deal it right back. A Spartan 4 would dodge the sword and then attack. And again, in my opinion, they're building a new world, or an addition to the world we've already seen. This is a new version of Spartan. We've never seen them before. They're not the brute strength Spartans that we've seen in the past. They're a speedy, more agile Spartan. So now that I think I've pinpointed the reasons why people are hesitant or have problems with this game, I'm talking about the people that actually have arguments. There are some people on here that just complain, which, you know, we don't count. Someone said if you played the original trilogy, you won't understand what I'm talking about. I had someone say that hit markers gave me too much information as a grenade, which is something I highly disagree with. I don't think hit markers matter, but in his opinion, in a hyper-competitive situation, you don't know if you hit the guy with a grenade, but now with a grenade throw, a hit marker, you do, and that completely changes the way you fight. And okay, I never played hyper-competitively. I do like to play competitive games. I play Overwatch, hence why I talk about it all the time. I've used to play Halo 5 semi-competitively. I've never played to this level of competition before, you know, with that much. And I think that Halo did kind of promote that, and I'm not saying it's good or bad to be that way. I think it's fine. But what you have to understand is not everybody plays the game that way. And 343 needs to understand that some people do play the game that way. And they did try to cater a bit with the competitive season to competitive players and social players. They added a social Slayer game mode in. It got taken out because no one really played it. But it was there. And I would like to see Halo 6 have some sort of hyper-competitive mode. If this is the thing that people want, why not put it in? Start by building 3 or 4 maps designed specifically for hyper-competitive Slayer, or call it, you know, whatever you want to call it. We'll call it hyper-competitive game modes. Start with only a few. Let's say you have 10 maps in the full game, and then 2 or 3 maps dedicated just to this hyper-competitive mode. And perhaps some of the other maps are adjusted slightly to make way for this. Turn off sprint, turn off Spartan abilities, turn off grenade markers, turn down the radar, turn up the radar, whatever you do, to bring this to this hyper-competitive series that people have been looking for. And allow them to breed and play in that world if they so choose, while allowing the game to stay in a similar state to where it is now. Allow it to have, let's just take it from Halo 5's standpoint, sprint and clamber and Spartan abilities and things in regular Slayer and regular competitive, and then have this hyper-competitive mode. I asked someone who was the guy who was talking about the hit markers about this, and he said, well, there just shouldn't be a hyper-competitive mode. It should just exist this way. And that's something I disagree with. Ever since Halo 3, really, we've had different modes that have changed the rules a little bit. Halo Reach was the first to introduce Arena, which was that special ranking, special rules, special maps mode, and it was a competitive level mode. In Halo 5 right now, they're introducing the Halo Championship Series mode, where everything is changed and you start with pistols and there's different weapon layouts on the maps. There used to be the Team Arena game mode that would follow that as well, with its own setup of weapons and things. And they have all these different modes. In Big Team Battle, you don't spawn with the same weapons that you would in Slayer. And that, in my opinion, is something Halo has always done. They've always catered a bunch of different modes to different play styles and different players. So why not just build a hyper-competitive mode, change up some of the rules, and continue to support it? Maybe only start off with a few maps and see kind of where it goes. Allow forged maps in that are designed specifically for, continue to build maps, say, okay, with this new update, we're releasing one new map and one hyper-competitive map. And let that just be. And then in custom games, you can go and you can play on the hyper-competitive maps, and they would be designed around not having clamber and sprint and, thruster pack and everything. They would be designed around a slower gameplay style. The time to kill in Halo 5 is very similar. It might be slightly faster, but the BR is still a 2-shot melee, the Magnum's still a 5-shot headshot like it has been. And I might do a video on this at some point, comparing weapons to something like Halo 3, just to see kind of what the damages actually are. But I think they're pretty close. There's a few things that are probably tweaked and changed, but for the most part, they're pretty close. And this, in my opinion, would really push the game forward and allow kind of everyone to be. There's one other thing that people didn't like, and that is the rec pack system. They think it really ruins everything, and there's videos about this everywhere. First off, I don't really have a problem with rec packs. I think they're fine. But I do think they need a tweak. I think that loot boxes in any game, assuming they don't give you an advantage, and I don't count the weapons in Warzone an advantage. That game is so big and crazy anyway that having a special gun usually doesn't help you in the long run, because even if you got like Nornfang and you're sniping people, someone's just going to kill you too. So, it's not really on the same level. But I do think they need to adjust the rec pack system. And here's a suggestion I have, and I figure I'll just tag this in on this video instead of making its own video of it.
Survivors will probably stay close to their emergency beacon.
Let us earn rec points like we do now. As we play, we earn some points. Those points go toward earning rec packs. I then have an option. I can go buy a rec pack, or I can go to the store. The store would have everything available to you. That's anything that can be earned in a rec pack, and each one will have a certain amount of points associated with it. Similar to like the Overwatch store or the Halo Reach store. Now, these things will be expensive. If I want the mythic Nornfang sniper rifle, it might cost me 200,000 rec points to have the ability to unlock that weapon and start to earn it in burn card packs, which I'll get into in a minute. But everything can be bought, and if I really want something, I can save up for it. Now, if I don't want to save up for something, I can take a gamble. I can go over to the rec pack store, and there'll be a couple different rec packs. I can buy a basic rec pack. This will unlock 2 random items, similar to it does now. 2 random items of any rarity. Any rarity. Don't do tiered rec packs anymore. There's really no point in them. Just do normal rec pack. 2 instant unlocks of items of any rarity. The rarer the item, the rarer it is to unlock, of course. And the chance to unlock an emblem, just like it is now. Then you'd earn some burn cards for Warzone. I can also choose to unlock a Warzone pack. This pack will contain 2 random Warzone-only items and a bunch of burn cards for Warzone. The burn cards would be if I have a commendation for a shotgun, chance to earn those, one-off cards, boosts, things like that. Alternatively, I could choose to get a cosmetic pack. This will unlock, similarly, 2 instant unlocks of armor or weapon skins, as well as the chance to earn an emblem, and then giving me some boosts. I think they should also just add a boost/burn card pack for super cheap, maybe like 1,000, and only inside that would be boosts or burn cards for Warzone, and the rarity is as is. I also think that you should be able to purchase rec packs. Rec packs only. Do not allow us to buy items in the store or rec items. Just the rec packs, a chance for things. And have them be priced accordingly, but do not display them in the front of the rec store. When I go to purchase a rec pack with in-game currency, either put them off to the side or have a separate tab or allow me to scroll down from when I select a rec pack. Don't project them first and say best value. Not only, I don't really care, but it doesn't really look good. I think this would allow people to purchase them if they so choose. It would sort of iron out that whole system and make it so that it's less about, random loot chance and more just about, do you want something? Save for it. Do you want a chance? Go for it. Every time you level up, just give us a regular rec pack. Don't give us like a special funky level 25 rec pack and it's got nothing in it. If we earn a commendation, give us like they do now. The rec pack for commendations is really just unlocking the emblem, and then they give you a few burn cards. So that's fine if you really want to save that, because what do you really unlock? Like I said, you unlock an emblem. Sometimes if you're super lucky, you unlock a weapon skin or something, and then you just unlock some boosts and burn cards. It's really about the commendation award, not about everything else. So that's okay. If you want to be like, surprise in the rec pack, you got the rocket launcher emblem, and then here's some extra stuff, because you did it too. So what do you guys think? I'll leave a link to a Reddit page about this video. You're also welcome to comment on the previous thread that I have linked. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Later.